All right, we're with Marc Wisniewski from Michigan Playgroup playing.
Played Demitri. It's kind of been my go-to when I'm stumped or looking for something like more consistent to play. I'm really trying to get a lot of points for the MCS ranking, so I went with what I felt was my safest pick, and for me it's been Demitri. I've been playing Demitri since the first time I played it was St. Louis PTC last year. So
you won Rockford PTC.
Won Rockford with it.
Yep.
I've topped a few times with it. It's the deck I played the most. It's past even like Clark and stuff now for me. But let's go and take a look. Yeah.
Are we lined up good, Nate?
Actually, you go a bit more
To the left. There we go.
To the left.
We got the UFS chub.
We got the UFS chub. You can't see it here on this rig, but it looks like.
Oh, you can see it in the. You can see it. Oh, yeah,
because it looks like the camera's got a dick.
It does. Camera does have a dick.
Now this is a pretty straightforward Demitri list with a few little tweaks. The one thing I want to start with just in the foundations, I only have one out here because I don't know what happened to the second one, but I made 2 copies of Peaceful Messenger. This card was really important for me most of the day. Almost every deck had some sort of a throw element to it, either throws or just multiple off zones. Having the perfect block was really helpful. I think this meta is getting throw heavy, even in decks like Phil's base deck plays throws. You know, there's just throws across a lot of symbols and fire, void, life. They all have ways to mix it up with throws. So having Peaceful Messengers in the main is really helpful.
Yep.
I sided extra Peaceful Messengers, and that's probably where my other ones are. Because I actually have not unsided from when I played Marcus, so that's why this stuff's all out of whack. I had 3 Dust in the Wind main. I wanted more high blocks, and from chatting around and figuring out what everyone was playing, I was like, wow, there's a lot of speed going around. Between Satoshi and I knew Yamato Man was coming. Base has everywhere.
Yep.
So I knew there was a lot of stuff that was going to use Dust in the Wind, so I made sure I had 3 there, and I sided a 4th, and I found myself siding the 4th almost every game.
Would you if you say you played this in Michigan, would you go ahead and just put the 4th in there?
I still wouldn't. I might. It depends on the space. I actually, the problem I had when I was building this was the initial build was like 69, 70 cards.
Damn.
And which is big for Demitri. And Demitri can run bigger. Like this deck, I believe, is like 65 or 66 cards.
Yeah.
Demitri can run a little bigger, and it's because in a slower deck, you don't need to, I got to have like Brain Flush on turn 2.
Thanks, Mark.
There you go, Justin. That was for you. But in a deck where you're really relying on, okay, I got to do something on turn 2, you want to be 59 cards.
Yeah.
59 characters. In something like Demitri, where I'm like, all right, I just need to take control of the tempo. I don't even want to be 60 cards. I want to be like 65.
And you're making that extra check every
check. Yeah, the extra check's a thing. The other thing, too, is just I have more tools at my disposal because I'm going to slow the game down. I'm going to get all the pieces I need and then do what I have to do.
Okay.
The one thing I do differently than most people is I'm very into playing 4 Templars. It was actually Phil who now is against 4 Templars, but but at the time when we were talking about this, because I was like, Phil, I'm kind of thinking about going to 4 Templars, and this was like last year sometime, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do 4 Templars, and he was like, well, if you draw 2 of them, you can just mulligan, and you still got 2 left in your deck, and that's kind of the point. And I've never been like, damn, I don't want this Templar in my hand. It's still, even without Breaker, I think is still too strong. So I have no qualms in having that as like my block. I was on the fence up until like the night before the tournament I was actually playing 3 Templar and one of the Zetrich, the Demitri Castle.
Yeah.
Demitri Castle, and it just didn't feel like it did enough. I understand that there is a card draw element to it, but it wasn't useful enough, so I'd rather it just be another Templar. So 4 Templars was really strong. It makes everyone's life miserable.
Yeah,
I played Detachable Body. Detachable Body was it's a cool deck, a cool little piece for this deck. Especially playing like Peaceful Messengers and stuff like that. The R on it is really helpful. After you partially block, you gain a life on a block. So there were a lot of instances where like I would half block with Templar, react gain 1, and then Templar gain 2 and draw 2.
And then negative stolen.
And then negative
after
stolen,
damage.
portal barriers.
Yeah.
So
it's
it was a
nuts.
really strong one. Of the R on it, I didn't get a chance. The other R where you can remove and make all your blocks one zone, I didn't get to use. If I had played Thomas Gordon and faced the Snake Man, I probably would have used that and just make all my blocks low.
Yep.
Like making your Templars into low blocks against Snake Man's really good.
That's pretty
That's pretty sweet. I'm trying to think anything I did weird on this, because Dimitri's been done over so many times. Now, if there were little changes I would make, I did some different stuff than I normally do. I usually play 4 Darkside Masters. I went with 3 Darkside Masters and 2 Death Blows.
Okay.
I would tweak some of that and make it probably 3 Death Blows. The 3 Darkside felt okay. But Death Blow, I kept wanting Death Blow and not seeing it.
Yeah. Would you take maybe like a stunner out?
I would either a stunner or a Death Valley.
Yeah.
The stunner was really good.
Sure.
The stunner puts it was my first time playing Demitri with stunner. I haven't played him since Blood Omen came out, and the stunner was really good. It put me into spots where I was like leading with the stunner, even if I was holding a Death Valley, to try and put them in a horrible spot, and especially for damage math, because that damage on top of Darkside makes your next throw 4 damage.
Yes, it does.
So throwing like a 9 damage Death Valley was great. Immortal Knowledge was really stupid good. It's perfect for like Tombstone Stunner math, because Tombstone Stunner with Darkside gets to 6 damage. Use Immortal Knowledge, make it 7, and then they half and take 4 instead of 3.
Yep.
So you get your Demitri math going. Let me bust up my sideboard here real quick, or what? So the mix of sideboard and all these goodies. I cited Stop, which never got used. I had it in decks. I had it against characters who it would have benefited against. I never got to use it.
Yeah.
Had extra Mathematician, extra Peaceful Messenger. The other Peaceful Messenger too is over here, so it does exist. But the big one
card sideboard.
this is the one I actually wanted to talk about the most was Guardian's Mark.
Yeah. How
Did not get I didn't get to use it.
Okay.
But in reading it, I think it's really good, and I'm gonna try it again and see if I have the use for it. Our commit after one of your other foundations would be destroyed, flipped, or removed due to your opponent's effect. Commit it instead as an R commit on this guy. That counters Dimitri's flip.
It counters Ever Hopeful.
Counters Ever Hopeful. Yep.
Okay.
It counters the weird Wily stuff. Hyperbomb. It's really good, and it doesn't specify non-character. So any kind of like the flippy effect from Demitri and stuff, you would R commit and then commit R commit this and then commit that card instead. So it turns Demitri into a form stun too. Yeah. But it doesn't let him flip anything. Yeah. Which unless he goes for that guy, then rules judge. Could you react on this? We're gonna have a rules debate right now on
one
this
of your
deck
other
profile.
foundations, so it wouldn't
Does it
work
say
on
other foundations?
so it wouldn't work on that
so
one.
it says other.
He would be a turn behind and flip.
He would be forced to flip Guardian Mark over whatever you've got out there. So I think that was an interesting card. I liked it in the side. I wouldn't change much though. The sideboard, I'd stick with Stop because I still think there's decks that I just didn't draw it. Yep. But I think that Stop is really good against a lot of decks. I would have Mathematician goes a long way. I didn't see the Fire aggro decks from last time.
Yeah, there was only one. I think it was a Marathi Fire.
Marathi Fire.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, they're doing it wrong.
Fire did not make a strong showing this week.
No.
Air did though.
Air had a great showing. I wouldn't change much. I'm gonna continue to play Demitri in spots here and there. He's been the best character for me, and in fighting game terms, I hate Demitri. I think he's the most annoying. I'm not a fan. But in UFS, I've found gold with Demitri.
Awesome.
But the other thing, I'd probably want 4 surveyors. I went 3.
Sure.
I went 3, and I really. There was a bunch of times where I wanted surveyors and didn't have them, and a bunch of times I wanted Deathblow and didn't have them. Yeah. So I would probably bump both of those. I played Racing Rivals as a little spam. It's also kind of like the MCS version of Hidden Laughter. You can re-ready it in a desperate time if you need it. So that was good.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff here though. It's just generic Demitri stuff.
So the next stop's in Michigan.
Yeah,
correct?
March 25th.
You want to do a quick plug for that?
Yeah, it's gonna be at Get Your Game On in Ferndale, which is like one of the best nightlife spots ever. So I mean, literally, it's across the street from a nightclub.
That's fantastic.
But it's a good store. It's brand new. I mean, they've been open 5 months, 4 or 5 months.
Fantastic! That's great. We'll get in there and set up for sure.
Yeah, they were very open, just like, hey, we're gonna have this tournament. You guys go with it? Yeah, we're gonna probably be empty. I was like, all right, great. So it's gonna be March 25th. Get your game on in Ferndale, Michigan. The last stop on the MCS tour before the finals. So come in and get as many points as you can, and try and make that top 6.
Sure, cool. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.